Okay, the date is the 22nd of May 2017. This is a Wargen interview conducted by Christopher Moriarty with Mr. John Parrot, known since birth as Jack Parrot. So, Jack,
Right.
can you tell us your name, rank and serial number?
Yes, driver John F. Parrot, Tableak 4977452.
Marvellous. When and where were you born, sir?
I was born in Woodseats Road, Sheffield, in 1921, 142 Woodseats Road, Sheffield.
You were born at home there?
Yes. Incidentally, the house where I was born isn't there now. It had a direct hit with a phosphorus bomb and burnt out.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What year was that?
Well, I don't really know. That was when
Right.
they were bombed Sheffield a lot. I think that was in about 1943.
Right,
They
right.
bombed Sheffield.
And what about your parents? What did your father do?
My father, when he left school, he was offered a job in Sheffield as an apprentice scissor grinder, of all things.
Right. And your mother?
He worked there until 1921, till the strike, and became unemployed naturally. We lived at Woodseats Road, as I've said before. There's a gentleman lived opposite who had a business in Birmingham as a window cleaner, and he offered Dad a job with him. So Dad went, and for 6 years, him and this guy discipled to Birmingham and back, which was over 12 miles every day, 6 days a week.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Eventually, he left him and set his own business up.
Right.
We left Sheffield, excuse me, when I was about, I'd be 9 years old, and we went to Woodseats, to mill houses, Drumfield, I beg your pardon, Drumfield. When I went to school there, excuse me, and eventually we moved to Birmingham, where I was schooled, finished school at 14, had 2 weeks off, started work at Staveley Works, in what I'll call the pipe shops at Staveley Works, and we were casting pipes vertically, in cast iron those days,
Right.
dirty job. After a few months, Dad said, "Pack that in, Jack, come work with me, I'll give you more money." And I did. I was working with him when I was called up for the army.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Sorry?
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, yes. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister,
Right.
and they're still they're alive, but for one.
Okay.
The one next to me, next in seniority to me, Bob, he died in 1998, the year before we came back from Canada.
Right.
Yep.
Can you remember the build-up to the war?
Well, I have vague recollections of the Germans advancing into Poland and bombing the cities there.
Right.
But otherwise, I didn't take much interest in it because I never thought anything would happen.
Right. And you remember the outbreak of war itself?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
How did you...
I can remember. Oh dear. I can remember we worked on Hollingwood, on Private Drive, and somebody came running out of one of the shops. War has been declared. And then the next thing I heard, all army people will have to report this evening, today. No, it's horrible, this.
All right, Jack.
Anyway.
Okay, what was the first manifestation you saw of war? Was it air raids, presumably?
Well, we didn't see anything really. As you know, we were bombed in Sheffield in about 1943, but we did hear planes come over now and again. But I was saying, after I was working with Farmer, and we agreed to work until later, and then go home, have a bite to eat, and then go down to the drill hall to sign on.
Right.
I did that, signed on. They sent me back home, come back in the morning, be here for 9 o'clock and report, and after that I was in. I'd signed up as a regular soldier then, because I was a territorial.
Okay.
I was in 2nd 5th Sherwood Foresters at drill hall on the road in Sheffield. I forget the name of the road now. I might remember it later. I'll coffee to me if I do. And from that point I was in.
What made you choose the army?
Well, a pal of mine, Bill Smith, we said we won't mind joining the TA. And we joined the TA both together on the 17th of June 1939. I think what drew us to it more than anything else was that we were going to get a free holiday in Holyhead, which turned out to be quite an effort. Drilling, I think another.
Right. So after you volunteered, what happened in the call-up process? After you signed up, was there a gap between, that event and you being told to report to an army base somewhere?
No, I had to report to the drill hall in Chesterfield.
Right.
Ashgate Road Drill Hall, Chesterfield. And I used to go home at night for the first couple of weeks, and then they stopped us going home and found us digs in Chesterfield. I was in a digs with 2 brothers from Manchester who were boxers. All right. The Booth brothers, and they ran a boxing booth at the ice rink. What was an ice rink on Chesterfield Road, Chesterfield.
And your training developed how?
Well, we were on parade on Chesterfield Rugby Football Ground, and we were marching about, and now we were told to stop and told to stand at ease. And there was a sergeant and an officer, strangers to us, who came along, and they asked us, anybody got any interest in cooking or can cook? It's 3 paces forward. Anyway, I was interested in cooking, so 3 paces forward. A few days afterwards, I was given a notification that I was to report to the rope boat, Nottingham, and start cooking. And I went there, of course.
Right.
Posted there. Now, very funny this. It was tea time when I went, so I had a bite to eat, and then they found me some digs, and next morning I had to get down there for 6 o'clock for breakfast, help them cook for breakfast. And there's this guy who's supposed to be a cook. He got a square meat pan about so high, about 3 inches high, and he got it full of bacon. So I said, what's this? He says, well, that's how we cook bacon. I said, no, it didn't. I said, you're going to get half-cooked bacon. He says, have it out of there and get it in the pan, the frying pan. So that's what he did. I mean, I told him what to do. I'd never cooked before. I'd seen Mother do it, that's all, you know. Anyway, it all went from there, and eventually it went to Derby Road Drill Hall, which was further up the road, in Nottingham. Right. On a fork road, Alfred Road, Mansfield Road. And had a beautiful cookhouse there, a range as big as this room, and it was heaven to be able to cook, you know. And I'd asked Mother one or two of things, and she guided me how to make things, pastry, and how to cook potatoes and greens and such things as that, and I did well.
But cooking for a family is a bit different. How many soldiers were you cooking for?
30 officers and men.
30 altogether?
30 officers and men.
So you had no trouble scaling up?
It was actually, this will come in later on, it was CRSC, that's Commander Royal Army Service Corps, RSC, 139 Brigade Headquarters. Remember that?
Right.
139 Brigade Headquarters. And I was cooking for them. But every night we used to go round the corner to a cafe where there was a jazz band playing.
Okay.
A 5-piece jazz band. Every weekend they were playing. And we were devils for staying out and climbing back in through the guardroom window. So the guard don't see us. One night I was the last one in. I went through the guardroom window, and who should be waiting there but Sergeant Corley, the camp sergeant. Right, he said, I've got you. He says, you'll be on a charge in the morning, be on parade for 8 o'clock, and you'll be in front of the officer. But anyway, it was 11 o'clock before I went in front of the officer. And he said, I'll have to discipline you, you know. He says, as an example to the other men, not to do it. So I was posted, I lost my job as a cook, I was posted to Kedleston Hall as an immature. Now immature, what they call an immature, was a person too young to be sent with his unit to France, who were on the point of going. My unit, Secretary of Sheriff Foresters.
Right.
So I didn't go. I finished up at Kedleston, and they found me a job as a officer's mess waiter.
How old were you then, Jack?
I was born in 1921. I'd be 18.
Right.
18 then, just turned 18. Anyway, I was waiter in the officer's mess, which was quite interesting, really. Because it taught me how to lay food out, lay places out. It taught me how to wait on, top class waiting. So it was very interesting work.
Was this within Kedleston Hall?
Yes, Kedleston Hall, yeah.
So that was taken over during the war,
Yes.
was it? As a
Well, a part of it was.
Right.
A part of it was the cookhouse was a large place. It was similar to the one at the drill hall, but slightly smaller. And we did learn that in this cookhouse there was a big door, big solid door, and it was well bolted, well fastened up. And we asked what it was, and he says that's the House's silver collection.
Okay.
There's thousands and thousands of pounds in there, and you can't go in. Thank you very much. Anyway, I finished up as a wine steward.
All right.
Yeah, wine steward. Behind the bar, serving wine. Tip gin and its. Every time I had a gin and it, every time that's for gin and it, you have one and put your name on my docket. They did pay for it, they had dockets, so I did.
Yeah.
Because I was drunk by the time I'd finished. But the interesting part about this was that when they finished in the anteroom, we had to take stuff into the anteroom, you know, from the dining room into the anteroom.
Yep.
The bar was in the dining room. We used to have to go and clean up. And there were sofas like we've got in the living room now, all leather sofas and chairs. And after 2 or 3 days we found out that there were a lot of muck getting down the back of the cushions. So we had to fetch them out and clean. Lo and behold, treasure. Half crowns, 5 bob pieces, pennies, halfpennies, farthings, all sorts. Our pockets were lining. We were sorry that came to an end, believe me. That was good. Anyway, the unit came back from there, and I was in my billet when they came back, and we welcomed them back live, said we're glad to see them, and most of them came back, which was fortunate. And then we started moving again. From there we went to a hall at Hucknall. Now I've been...
Sorry, Jack. When you say the unit came back from France.
Came back from Dunkirk, yeah.
So your unit had gone as part of the British Expeditionary Force and
That's
presumably had been evacuated through Dunkirk, and
yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And most of your unit came back
Yeah,
through that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they came back. So we went to this hall between Hucknall and Nottingham.
Right.
I can't get the name of the place. I've been there for lunch years and years ago because we used to go to Hucknall quite a lot to see my wife's nephew. Anyway, we went there, we were stationed there for I don't know how long, and everything's gone hazy. I really can't say for sure where we absolutely went from there. I cannot remember it, but I know we finished up on it. I think we went there to Galashiels. That's halfway up to Scotland,
Yeah.
as you know. And I was only looking at photographs of that the other day. My brother went there golfing. Anyway, from there we went to North Berwick and Dunbar on East Coast Defence, where we used to go out for drill, rifle practice, you know, gun practice, all that kind of thing. We stayed there for about 6 months. Now,
Okay, so your unit was sent to Doncaster.
yes, we went to Doncaster. Well, we were stationed in a place that I cannot remember, but we used to parade on Doncaster Rugby football ground. After several days doing this, we were called to stop, and a sergeant and an officer came on the scene, and the sergeant brought us to attention. He said, right, I'm looking for drivers. Anybody interested in driver or has any idea of driving? 3 paces forward. 3 paces forward. What's your name? Driver Parrot, Private Parrot. Your number 4977452. Right, we'll be in touch with you later. Anyway, I forgot it all now. Forgot about this for a long. It was 3 months afterwards. We were in Scotland. Went from there to Galashiels, and from Galashiels we went to Dunbar and North Berwick on East Coast Defence. Whilst we were there, this sergeant came from the transport lines to the platoon I was with. I think it was A platoon. We were in beach huts on the front on the beach at Dunbar, and he called me out. He says, right, he says, come with me, jump in the back of this truck with 4 more people. I need another one to pick up. We picked another one up and went to Princess Street, Edinburgh. Now I was the second of the third man to get behind the wheel. And the very strange this, I cannot even believe it myself, that I actually got in there. He says, right, drive this vehicle if you can. And I put my foot on the clutch, put the gear in, use the accelerator, turn the handbrake off and move the vehicle. Biggest shock I had in my life when I did that.
So you had no driving lessons and no driving licence?
I had an idea of driving because in my younger days when I was at school, the car next door at Birmingham, he had two self-hire taxis, and every summer he'd take us to the coast for a day because we never went anywhere. Dad and Mum weren't very well off and the big family, so he used to pile us in this car, this wireless Overland Whippet, an American car it was, and off we used to go to the seaside, and he used to watch what he did. I was interested in driving.
Yeah.
I used to watch him put his foot on the clutch and the other foot there and then the foot on the brake and take the handbrake off. So I followed that when I was driving down Princess Street. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I drove I should think about 200 or 300 yards. He said, stop. I thought, oh gosh, I've failed it. You can't pass me on this. Anyway, he said, before you go, he says, you've only made one mistake. I said, what's that, Sergeant? He says, you grip the steering wheel too tight. He says, don't grip it like that, you'll not lose it. He says, right, go and get in the bag. Well, when we finished, went back to the transport lines of this farm on the Edinburgh Road, leading from Berwick-on-Tweed to Edinburgh, and he singled me out. He says, right, come with me. Oh, okay, Sergeant, that's your vehicle there.
And what sort of vehicle was it, Jack?
A Ford 1000 weight van.
Right.
And it ain't got a start. There were no starter motors those days in those vehicles. A very old one.
Right.
So you'd have to crank it up. I says, right. He said, now you've got an officer here. You're going to be posted to the reserve platoon, which is it's further up towards North Berwick at a seaside resort. There's no name for this place, but it's just a long drive with caravans down each side where people stay. You're going to be billeted there. So that's where we went. But I started this thing up, got in the thing, the officer got in with me, he looked at me, I says, right, carry on, he says. So went out through the gate of this farmyard of this field at the farmyard where the vehicles were, loaded with them, full of them, and turned right down the lane, got to the gate, got to the entrance to the main road, stopped, looked for no traffic, went out again, carried on to the right, and came to a fork, and I had to turn the right fork for to where we were going. So as I was going round this corner on the right fork, I cut it a bit fine, a bit close. Who should be coming down the other side but the padre in a Morris 8. I got a bit too close to him and whipped his back bumper off. Oh, we stopped. He got out, looked at me. I looked at him, I said, I'm sorry, sir. I said, it's the first time I've ever driven. Don't worry, he says. He says, pick it up, put it in the boot, put it in the back of the car, and I'll take it transport lines and they'll fix it up there. I never heard any more about it. Anyway, I drove this vehicle for, I should think a couple of months, up and down with the officers running them about, like running material about. The last job I did with it, I think, if I can remember, was taking an officer down to Edinburgh Station to pick up a bread-gun carrier. Anyway, he got in this bread-gun carrier and he started it up, and he couldn't make head or tails of it. He could drive, but he couldn't drive that. So he says, can you drive, do you think? I said, no, I'll have a go at it. So he got in van and I got in bread-gun carrier, and I was there. Accelerate was there, but the steering was different, because you got...
It was just levers in a break-gun carrier.
Yeah. So I followed him to the lines, and I showed them what to do, like. I didn't know what to do, I'd never driven before.
But you worked it out?
It's all up here. It was amazing, really. I knew all this. Interesting, though.
Did you ever get any training in driving at all, Jack? Or you just did it on the job training?
I never had the slightest. I swear, I never had any training. I just got on with the job, just got on and drove as if I'd been driving all my life. But a few days after I came back with this officer, with this bread-gun carrier, I was going back to the transport lines. I don't know what I was going for. I was going to pick something up, I think. And all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. So, what the heck's up now? So, I stopped a bit and it kept on. So, I managed to get the transport lines with it and went in. And as soon as I come in, oh, stop it. You've got a big handgun. You've run it short of oil. I'd run it short of oil. And it lifted the bonnet up, and all the exhaust was red hot. It was red hot. It was red. It was glowing. So they give me. Then they say, "Okay, don't worry about it. It happens. And remember to check the oils next time we give you one." So they give me a Vauxhall 1214, one with a fluted bonnet.
Right. Yeah.
Fluted bonnet, on the top. And I drove that, and went back down then to England. I can't remember where we went, but we weren't there long before we went back to Scotland again. And it was winter time when we went back to Scotland. We called at Gala Shields, and then we went into Glasgow, I think it was, into a warehouse where we bulled about doing nothing. And then we had instructions one morning, I think it was January about 1942. late 1941 this would be, it's winter time. It was about 12 degrees below up there. Everything was freezing up, and we were told that next day we were going to have to move back down to England. No antifreeze.
Oh.
So they instructed us, you'll have to find a bit of cardboard and stick it at the bottom of the radiator and somehow fasten it there, because that's where the freezer starts. If you can protect that.
Yep.
You don't. So I did that. Anyway, I didn't do it properly, and we'd only gone about 10 miles, and bang, 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 bang. It seized up again.
Yeah.
Now, the officer said, well, I can't ride with you in that now, because you're going to have to be towed. So I was towed behind a 1500 weight Bedford water tank. 300 gallon tank it was, water tank. And this car, it hadn't got electric windscreen wiper.
Right.
Vacuum. And it was soft snow we were going over. And the windscreen was getting spat, I couldn't see. So I had to keep dropping it into gear, smashing it into, because it was synchronised with it being a Vauxhall one.
Yep.
Sat in there for a few minutes to clear the windscreen, then back again. And I was like that all the way down to a place in Norfolk, an abbey in Norfolk. It's on there, it's on my notes somewhere.
Okay.
And then, of course, I lost it then. I didn't get a truck then at all. But while I was there was myself and another driver who were instructed one day to go up to a lay-by that was in the hall grounds, and there's a load of boxes, big crates. And in those, they say, you'll find some small miniature motorcycles that you've got to build up and test and run in to about 3 miles.
Right.
There's about 50 of them.
Miniature motorcycles.
Miniature motorcycles, yeah. And they were intended for the paratroops.
Right, yeah.
Drop with para. So we did that. Quite an interesting job that was.
You had to run in 50 miniature motorcycles.
Yeah.
For 3 miles.
Yeah. They run it for 3
You had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, we made all right with him. Anyway, that came in good stead later.
Right.
Because I was moved from there to East Dereham.
Yeah, that's still in Norfolk, yeah.
Another unit.
Yeah.
Now then, a little tale here.
Yeah.
I was bad. I hope they don't cover me for this. They see it. But I was given leave, and then joined this other unit when I had leave for a week. I had 4 weeks. I stopped it over 4 weeks.
Oh.
Went back to report in the guard room at East Dereham. Oh, he said, okay, give us your paperwork. We'll assign you to this particular house to sleep there. So I slept there. I had never heard any more about it. That was it. We started there. Now then, from there, I was still in the infantry then. From there, I was posted to Pudsey to join the Royal Army Service Corps.
Right.
And form a unit called the 290 Transport Company, RSC.
Right.
And we were there, bulled about there to get everybody together for about 3 or 4 weeks. And one day we were sent by train, about 100 of us, to Bull, Nottingham.
Right.
Where we found 83-ton commerce waiting for us to drive.
Right.
Never had a big truck like that before. So that's it. You're going in that, you're going down south of England. They never told us exactly where. You're going to the south of England as a convoy. So that's what we did. Went in a convoy, 2-day job, down to Dover, finished up at Dover.
Right.
Dover Castle.
Okay.
Where we unloaded these vehicles. Well, they unloaded, the men unloaded them. And inside were tower structures, for towers, building towers up,
Right.
angular squares they were.
Yeah.
And we were told later that that was the first ever radar installation
Okay.
that went up. And then we drove back to Ollerton, Edwinstowe, Sherwood Forest,
Right.
where we were employed for 6 months building ammunition into Sherwood Forest from Workshop Station.
Okay. And just so you were creating an ammunition dump in Nottingham.
Nissan was about sort of as high as we had.
Yeah.
We stooped down to get it all low on,
Yeah.
so they couldn't be seen from there. All camouflage.
All right.
Yeah, we did that.
Was this stockpiling for D-Day, presumably?
That's right.
Right.
Stockpiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this was with the 290 transport.
That's with the 290 transport company.
Okay.
Yeah. We were there, as I say, about 6 months, and then all of a sudden we were moved to a hall just outside Doncaster. Not Cudworth Hall, no, not Cudworth Hall. Snaith Hall, S-N-A-I-T-H, Snaith Hall.
Right.
Where we were trained. We had 6 months commando training. The
Okay.
commando unit came in. Okay.
So you went to start commando training, Jack?
That's right. Yes. Now there was no real effort in this training. It was just basic training. There was no water to splash over, no ropes to hang on to, no big obstacles to climb over. It was mainly unarmed combat,
Right.
which they were very keen on us doing. And also handling machetes. We had machetes. And we learned afterwards what that was for. Because after a few weeks training, 3 months they were there training, round about that anyway, we were sent home on draft leave. Never knew where we were going then until we got back after the draft leave. You were supposed to go to Spanish Morocco, but it's been cancelled. You've had draft leave for nothing. The Americans have got it instead.
Right.
So we're stuck there. Anyway, DDST, Deputy Director of Supplies and Transport, who were stationed at a hotel in Doncaster, required a dispatch rider who could ride a motorcycle. Straight away, Jack Parrot. So packed up and went to this hotel. They showed me to a room which was mine, and then they took me down and showed me the motorbike in the back of the hotel. That's your machine and that's your sachet to carry the messages in. You'll start tomorrow morning. Get used to the machine. And then I was a dispatch rider then until we'd been in Normandy after D-Day for about 6 or 7 weeks, dispatch rider. And I rode all over the country, all over the place. We finished up from the hotel in Doncaster to Cudworth Hall, which was a hall on the outskirts of the Doncaster. And there I was put to good use as a clerk in the office and a dispatch rider. And my job in the office was in the Colonel's office, in Colonel Dobbs' office, where he had I don't know whether you've ever seen these ordnance survey maps, the instant mile, the big.
Yep.
And there was there was 2 of those joined up, 3 of those joined up on a wall, a big wall, to show the East Riding of Yorkshire and the whole of Lincolnshire.
Right.
And we were in charge of that area. We were in charge of all transport troop movements from there. And eventually Colonel Dobbs came over to me while I was putting pins in and marking the place where these troops have gone. He says, right, he says, I've put your name into War Office to receive the letters. He says, I can't do with them because there's so many coming. Now on troop movement, he says, you sworn to secrecy code. Now, he says, anything you say, you'll be in trouble if you, if you discipline.
So was this was this before the Official Secrets Act came into being? This was a sort of wartime secret law.
That was in between us, that was.
Right.
The gentleman's understanding, that was.
Right.
And of course I had letters come to me then from directly from War Office. Such and such a unit was going this route to such and such a place. It's your job to pinpoint where they're going, and make sure that there's no bad bridges or high bridges. So that was my job.
Okay.
For 3 months. Yeah. Eventually, Colonel Dobbs was posted to America. He was posted to California to go training troops, and we all begged him to take us with him. Sorry, I have to use men over there, he says. So another guy took over, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Holmes took over then. He was a nice guy. He used to send me out cigarettes for him. He used to smoke Kensingtons. Now go and see if you can find me some cigarettes, because you know they were in short supply then, during the war. That's what I did. I did quite a lot of work there, dispatch riding. I used to ride out as far as Spurn Point, top side of the other side of Hull, which was a point on the Humber. Humber. All over the place. You mention it anywhere. I even used to go to one near home, to Van Dyke's house at Heath, near Marlborough.
Right.
And then from there, I used to. I made it my last call that day. I went home for the night.
Tell me, Jack, what was food like in the time you were there? Did you ever end up going hungry or?
No, my God, no. You had plenty of food. I mean, you get up in the morning, you'd get a big mug of tea with as much sugar as you wanted in it. And then when you drunk that, the PT kit and out on PT training, then on parade probably at 9 o'clock on the parade ground for a bit of drill work. It was easy going, and of course from time to time we went onto the shooting ranges. We were classed as riflemen as well as transport, and even in the RASC.
Yeah.
And the very fact that I had been a rifleman in the infantry stood me in good stead, because I was a good shot.
Right.
Really good shot. And I don't know. From there we went again to Scotland from Cudworth Hall. We went to Hamilton, where we were berthed on the Hamilton racecourse, and they'd converted all the horse stables into bunks.
Right.
For everyone.
Yeah.
So we were berthed in stables. There, I had lots of work to do as regards the maps had all gone and the maps on the wall. I was dispatch riding then. I was working hard on the bike. And but I had an unfortunate incident there after being there about 3 months, 2 or 3 months. I was going round the corner in the race course, a blind corner, and I was going pretty fast, I'll admit. And all of a sudden I saw this lorry coming toward me and headed for it. Bang! Flew me in there. This is true. It flew me in there. He says, you turned 3 somersaults and landed on your feet. He says, you got up, stood like this, and then you went down again. You went down again. And I finished up with this leg up here. A big balloon on it.
All right, yeah.
Finished up in Stone RCMS, Emergency Medical Services. And
How long were you in there for?
20 days.
All right, okay.
20 days, not 21. Had it been 21, I wouldn't have been able to go back to my unit.
Oh, really?
No. If you're there 21 days or more, probably pioneer course, something like that. And I knew that, so I asked the doctor on the 20th day, I says, look, sir, I explained what it was, what I wanted. He says, right, I want you to walk up the ward and have a look at you walking. And of course, I walk, trying not to limp, just a slightly. Okay, you can go, he says, I'll sign you off. I'll get you a vehicle to take you back to Hamilton. Yeah, that was that.
Did you have to go straight back on the dispatch riding?
I went on it next morning.
Right.
Yeah, straight on it next morning.
Do you have any idea of the types of messages that you were carrying when you were a dispatch rider at all, Jack?
Well, the most of it was court-martial stuff.
Right.
The main supply was court-martial stuff. And then there was troop movements, exercises, because we were headquarters, if you remember.
Yeah.
DDST, RSC headquarters, and all that kind of thing, you know. It was no military benefit, really.
Right.
But for the fact that they had to keep everybody occupied.
Yeah.
While you know, all the troops were back in England from most of the troops were back in England from war zones.
Yeah.
There was only those out in South Africa, North Africa.
Yeah.
There was none in Europe at all, so
Yep.
they were all training off and on for that business, Normandy.
What did you think of the commanders at headquarters? Did any of them stick out as being good, bad, competent, incompetent, or is it just the same as any other group of men?
Well, we had
Right, we're recording again, Jack.
Okay, right. Well, we had some good chaps in the office. I think at that time it was Sergeant Battery. He was from York. Good chief clerk he was. And then we had a couple of clerks, Private Pinnock and Private Orenshaw. They're both from Luton.
Right.
And they were a very good team. We used to work together. We had as you know, it was a headquarters place. We'd moved from Hamilton to the Hydro Hotel at Skelmley.
Which part of the country is that? Skelmley?
Scotland.
Right.
Scotland. It's on the Firth of Clyde.
Okay.
Firth of Clyde, near Tinnabrooy Bay, near Largs, where the combined
Right. Services
were.
Right.
At the big house there.
Yep.
Where you used to have to go with the dispatches, like. Anyway, we were at this place and motorcycling, it just became part of my life there, you know. I was out all the time, and the staff in the office, they were excellent, absolutely excellent. And we used to have to go on the telephone exchange, you know. I had to take nights on the telephone exchange when I wasn't doing anything.
Right.
Plugging the old things in, you know, connected.
So that was a military exchange, presumably.
Yeah, military
I think.
exchange, that's right, yeah. From there, we were there, combined access officers, combined services for, I should think, 6 months there, and I can't remember what time of the year. I think it was cold. It was. Yes, it was cold. I remember we had a convoy back down England, and I had to help the police it. That was snow on the floor.
Right.
Imagine that on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Police in a convoy.
Yeah, not easy.
I just stopped, watch them pass across the road, then fly up front again. Only came off once, and these guys in this truck, this army truck, at the side, all right, yes, thank you. Jumped up bike and rode off again. Thank you very much, I said. I managed anyway. We went down, and I remember that we left. We were in Scotland three times, And all 3 times I was policing a convoy down, but I can't remember them all.
Right.
I can remember that one. I can remember another one. We went up to Hamilton, I think. I don't know how long. We weren't staying there long, and then we went back. And as we were going back, there was me on the motorbike, and there was 4 more RSC guys, and we're all policing the convoy. And as we got further south, I think we're down Hereford way. We all were struck with a problem. We all got eyes that were all the dispatch riders got eyes bunged up.
Right.
Bunged up, you know. We couldn't see, and we had to stop. They had to stop. We had to stop overnight and bathe our eyes with cold water every night. Went the next morning.
Okay, good.
So there was just an infection, right? Where we went? Where? I think we went to. Now where did we go there? I can't remember now.
But were you heading south in preparation for D-Day at this time?
No, because we went to Scotland again eventually.
All right.
That was the second time.
Right.
We went up a third time to Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah. Where we went, I don't know.
Okay.
You know, bearing in mind that it's, 65 years ago,
Yeah.
isn't it now?
Yeah.
And things get easy in your mind after that. But I can only give you the general layout of what I did.
That's fine.
I can't be definite.
That's fine.
Can't be, can't fit it in properly. But I think we went down to a place. That's right. I remember we went to a place in. No, that was the last time. Anyway, we went somewhere. Then we went back to Scotland and back down again. And the third time we went down, we went to Godalming, a place near Godalming, near Guildford, in Surrey. Guildford. Can't remember the name of the place now. And there I was given a green security card. I was sworn to secrecy by the Canadian. They were Canadian security company running it, and I had to go to London to the office in an office in London. DDST was there, and it turned out that DDST, Director of Supplies and Transport, Colonel Bright Holmes, he was actually given the job of planning for transport and services for the first 10 days of the invasion. So we were involved in that. A very interesting thing happened there. I was dispatched a lot of dispatches. This particular day, I was sent to Oxford, to American Army headquarters in Oxford, and it was probably 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon when I went, and of course I rode down the bike and delivered my dispatch, came back down Western Avenue into London, and as I was entering the outskirts of London, fog, pea super, I couldn't see that. So what did I do? I couldn't do anything else but get off the bike, turn the engine off, shove the petrol off to stop the any flooding, and put it in neutral and walk with the handlebars and the lights on, pushing my foot along the pavement. Anyway, I was lucky. I was really fortunate that night, because I wouldn't have known what to do with myself, because it was thick fog all the way into London. I run into someone, didn't I? What the heck is all you doing? I said, I'm trying to get back into London. He says, well, he says, I'm an officer. He said, I live close by. He says, you'll never make London tonight. He says, give me your motorbike, I'll push it and you hang on to the back. So he said, I know where to go, I know where I am, I'm not very far from where I'm living. Anyway, we went a bit further down and through up this drive, I could just see the outline of the gates and the drive. And then the lights of this big house appeared. And he went to the door. He says, "Stay there. I'm going to push you back in the garage along with the Bentley."
With the Bentley?
Along with the Bentley. That's exactly what he said, yeah. So he said, "Wait for me there." So he came back and he pushed the bell and somebody came and he said, "The butler." And he let us in, like, and he says to the butler, he said, "Now, tell me, explain what had happened. I couldn't get to London with her because of fog and all that business." He says, "We'll have to have him here for the night." He says, "Can you take him up and give him a bath and give him some civilian clothes to wear?" He could see I wanted a bath like that. So, had a bath. He says, now, the butler said, "Now leave all your army clothes and your boots, your shoes, everything outside the door." And he says, when you've had your bath and you're ready, we'll give you about 20 minutes or so. He says, "You'll find some clean clothes outside the door." He said, "Be all right, but nobody about. Don't worry, just fetch them." So I did that, got dressed, and as I got dressed, they must have heard me, like. Anyway, butler came back. He said, "Right, come on, I'm going to take you to the kitchen and feed you now." So we went down the kitchen, and the lady cook was there. She gave me a slap up meal. Goodness knows they used to do it in ration time, but that's what they did. They must have been on the black market or something. Anyway, after a while, I'd finished and jumped what I want to do, like, and this officer came then. "Are you all right?" "Yes, sir, thank you." "Come on, I'll introduce you to your host." I went in this big drawing room, a beautiful place, big roaring fire there. People were sat around in easy chairs, and all they were doing was playing crosswords and listening to the radio. So he took me to this gentleman, the old gentleman. He says, "I'm going to introduce you. Can I have your name?" I says, "Yes, I'm Driver Parrot." "Driver Parrot, sir." "Driver John Parrot." He says, "Right. This gentleman is General Charter." And a little bit later on he came to me, this officer came to me, "You're talking to a very important man there. He was an intelligence officer to the Lord Hague in the First World War."
All right.
So I had the pleasure of being in a house with a notable gentleman like him for the night. And the next morning I went on my way. Anyway, before I went, I broke my secrecy code. I didn't realise I'd done it. This general, he said, "Do you mind telling me who your commanding officer is? I can ring him and tell him where you are then." He says, "It doesn't matter, don't worry about it." So I told him, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Holmes. "Oh, I know Dobby," he says. "I know Dobby." He says, "I'll give him a call and tell him where you are." No, biggest mistake I made him. Well, one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. That I lost my job.
Really?
Secrecy code gone. I mean, I give him the name of the man who was responsible for planning part of the invasion.
Yeah.
I should have had more sense, really.
Yeah.
But when I got back, I was told to go back down to Cobham.
Yeah.
Cobham. We were in a big house there. It was winter time. The back end, really cold. And I never went there again. My motorcycle was taken off me, and the day before that, of course, I had to take another guy to the office, American. So American was taking over my job. Of course, I left my bike there and had to transport it back to.
All right. Okay, Jack, we'll just take a pause there.
And we're finished again.
Okay, Jack, so you lost your job at DDST and then you were posted to Cobham.
Yes,
and what happened there?
I was posted to Cobham, all right. It was bitterly cold. We were in this big house with just 2 or 3 blankets and a rucksack for a pillow. Nobody bothered with us at all. There's no officers there, only men, and we were just loose. Couldn't do anything there because I'd lost my job. And it was a house. It was a modern house in that time, but the military had taken it over because it was empty. Down in the basement there was a fireplace, a big stove with water radiators running from it, and we tried our best. There was anthracite there, coal, would stick and everything he wanted to get it going, but we could not get it running. And we think that somewhere there was something electrical and some fans and some dampers or something you got to pull out, but we never found them.
Right.
So we had to leave it. So we had to manage in the cold. Now there was I can't exactly remember what we did from there, but as you say, it was planning for the invasion, and it wasn't long after that we were sent to Aldershot to form up with the rest of the outfit that we were going with, and then we stayed there for a couple of weeks, and then we were shipped to Tilbury, where we were put in a warehouse, a holding pattern in a warehouse, waiting to go overseas. Anyway, whilst we were there, a little story. The office truck was in this warehouse. It was a customs warehouse actually, and a couple of blokes in the early hours of the morning, they broke into the office wagon and pinched a bottle of whiskey, which they drunk up in about an hour. It's gone. Well, the military police found them drunk, incapable, so they put them in a cage. It being a custard made with these cages. Anyway, the next morning, one man came out and the other one didn't. So they went in to see what was the matter with him, and he was dead.
Oh, what happened? Oh, really?
Choked.
Oh dear.
Choked to death, yeah. The other one was put on court martial, and of course this one was taken away. And then of course we had to wait there, because at that time it wasn't quite certain exactly which day we were going because of the weather pattern, and all of a sudden they got the word that it was the 6th, and we had another night in the warehouse, and then we were take to the boat, to the landing tank craft that we landed in to Tilbury.
Did you have any extra training whilst you were in Tilbury for?
None at all.
The invasion?
We were fully trained then. We know what to do. We know what to do. I still got my motorcycle. I got my motorcycle back.
Okay.
Yeah, voices really. And
can you remember which unit you were with at this point in Tilbury?
DDST.
You were still back with DDST.
Yeah. I finished the war up to October 1944. I was with DDST.
Right. Okay.
Up to that time. A few things happened in between that time. Like we, as I say, we landed. We finally sailed from Tilbury. We stood out in the estuary for a few hours for the weather to calm down a little bit, and then the boat sailed with us in it. I was in the back of a 3-ton cover with the motorcycle. I don't know where the colonel was and the staff. I never saw anybody else. I'd only be in the back. And I remember the boat, all the bumps and banging going off, and then the boat landed. His ramp went down, and I felt the truck go, and we ran up the beach, and happened to look out. We were following a flail tank.
Right.
Tank with flails.
Yeah.
Up the beach, and right across, right up to the road.
Do you know which beach that was, Frank?
It was Gold.
It was Gold Beach.
Gold, yeah, Gold Beach, and then we the flail tank went, and we went down this lane, and I think we were led down a lane to a quarry. Now, take this as a ramp, 6-foot ramp with a single track rail on the top.
Yeah.
That's a quarry. This is the corner of a field here. That was the track. About the 4th or 5th night there, we'd gone got down, we'd made ourselves we couldn't build a slit trench because it was rock.
Yeah.
So we'd found lumps of rock and
Yeah.
stone and piled it up about this high, and we were down behind that. Good job we were, because on the 4th, 5th or 6th night we were there, 11 o'clock at night, we'd just gone to sleep, and there's such a terrific bang, 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 just like bang, bang, double one. And what had happened, I think somebody must have had a light, because you know, headquarters are carefree, they don't give a damn. And what had happened, a German place had come over and he dropped a landmine in the corner of the field, which might be there, the corner of the field.
Yeah.
The Padres 50 to Bedford was there. Anyway, the second bang, the first, we didn't hear the bomb, the landmine drop, but we heard the bomb drop onto the railway line because it was a flash bomb.
Right.
And this landmine was a flash detonator.
Right.
Built into it, so it had to have flash to set it off.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. They blew the lumps of railway line all over the place. We were lucky.
Yeah.
We were really lucky. There was one piece of shrapnel went over the top of the office lorry, which the colonel was literally sleeping in, and went into the quarry wall,
Right.
which he found it next morning. That's my souvenir, he said. Anyway,
Was anybody injured then, Jack?
no, not a soul. But the Padres 1500 around Bedford was blown over from here, over here, into the quarry.
Right.
And it was it finished right at the side of a slit of a ramp,
Right.
like we'd got.
A parapet that you'd built.
Parapet, some more. It wasn't our parapet.
Okay.
Somebody else's house was across the other side. And it was all tyres were ablaze.
So the truck had been blown 50 yards.
So, that was astounding.
Yeah.
It landed on all four wheels. I don't know what happened to stuff in it, but Paris and Bibles and things. But oh God.
So you were in the quarry. The headquarters was based in this quarry, not far from Gold
Yes,
Beach.
but fancy. Can you? Would you have done that? But a headquarters in a quarry where there's a railway line close to it, very, very close. It ran practically through the quarry.
Right.
But they'd only got to follow those lines because they shine and up there.
Yeah.
And if any lights, it reflects on them.
Yeah.
That's what happened. The bomb was out. Anyway, the next day we were out of there, and they put us in a farmyard in an orchard.
Did you move further inland, away from the beach, or was it?
No, only a couple hundred yards.
Okay.
Up over the top of the quarry.
Right.
Took us back a little bit into this farmyard
Okay.
where we could blitz slit trenches there.
Right.
Anyway, I used to take dispatches out from there. I used to go across the what's it called, bridge across the water. Oh, that bridge, what's it called? I've got it on here somewhere. It's the bridge that the 6th Airborne saved.
Pegasus Bridge.
Pegasus, that's right. We used to go across there to 6th Airborne do.
Right.
Who were down in a farmyard, and they were lying down. They were lying at each side of this farmyard in slit trenches. These guys were. Once when I went, I was going down there. Hey, get up that bloody bike! There's a Jerry overhead.
Right.
And of course I heard it. Stopped the bike, laid it down. Come and get in this slit trench. And I got in this slit trench. You know, every man was shooting at an aeroplane. Revolvers, stun guns, brown guns, rifles, anything they got.
Right.
Fire in there. So, anyway, dispatchers. I'll tell you, I went to. I used to go to Bayou Peninsula with dispatchers, and my job was to go out at 10 o'clock every night every night with his late dispatch, what they call late dispatch. Used to go there. It used to take me 2 hours to get there to pay you.
How did you find your way around? Because this would be a strange country, wouldn't
Because
it?
I was Miracle Man.
Miracle Man.
I could read a map.
Right.
I could read a map like the back of my own.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was amazing, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I was given that job in that office. I couldn't
Right.
have called
Yeah.
because I could read a map.
Yeah.
I could understand the figures on it.
Did you have any training in map
Nope,
reading, or
nope,
again it was just
nope,
something
I
you
just
picked up through
simply
working
picked up.
through DDST?
Yeah.
Right.
So they picked up. Now, every location had a map reference. So with that map reference, I could chase it up on the map
Right.
and go pinpoint
Okay.
to it. Okay. Anyway, I went this particular night. I went to the American Army headquarters on the Peninsula, and coming back, I saw a red cap on a crossroad. He says, he stopped me. He said, "Be careful." He said, "The young patrols have been out." I said, "Okay, thank you." And of course, I went along this, carried on along this lane, and all of a sudden, red went back. Wire stretched across the road, but another one of my 9 lives on. I must be something. It broke before it
Oh, right.
snatched me back. It broke, got back, and it broke. The wire broke. The head went forward again, you know, because you were pushed against it. And I got back to headquarters the next morning. Colonel saw me. He says, "What the devil's the matter with your eyes, rather, Parrot?" They were burnt across here.
Yeah.
Where the wire had burnt it, like. Told him what happened. And so he looked at me. He said, "I think you were ready for arrest." He says, "I'm going to we're going to set another man on. I'm going to give you a better job, another job. I'm going to have you to drive Major Bowers about, Crask, Commander Royal Army Service Corps, 139 Brigade Headquarters."
Okay.
I got back to it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was with him in Nottingham.
Yeah.
I got back with the different commander.
Can you remember how long after D-Day this was that you got posted back to 139 Brigade HQ?
Ooh, well, I mean, we were only there about 3.5 months before we were moving up,
Okay.
as you know. So it must have been, what, 9 or 10 weeks.
Okay.
9 or 10 weeks, that's
Okay.
all. Yeah, before I went to, and then they posted me back to 139 Brigade Headquarters, and I found them in a field. They were the lads were in German-made bunkers.
Okay.
These guys were fabulous, Germans. They'd built these bunkers out of solid earth. They dug down, and they got timber supports all round this place, and they got 2 beautiful bunks in, and that's where we were in them. But there was one fault. One night there was a German place came over, and there was an attack outfit just a bit further up the fields, and they were shooting at this plane. They were coming in low, and one of these phosphor bombs, you know, the phosphor bombs, went in a slit trench. One of these trenches burnt them to death.
How many men were in there?
2 men.
All right.
2 men. They were only 2 men.
It's a friendly fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you remember where this was, Jack, at all?
It was close to a radio tower that even after all this time was still occupied by German troops. They were sticking it out. In fact, one day while we were there, a red-headed soldier, who got red hair, I always remember him, red hair, Jenkins I think his name was, he decided he was out with them. Unbeknown to anybody, he took his gun, his Tommy gun up there, going up this lane to this tower, and they spotted him, and he was absolutely riddled with bullets. Absolutely riddled him with bullets, yeah. They couldn't get them out. It was too dangerous, so they had the Navy shell them. And we could see the shells coming over.
Right.
We actually see shells coming over from ships
They must have been the big calibre ones then.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, what a sight. What a beautiful sight.
End of the radio tower
I tell
then.
you what, also, when we were moving up, we moved from that location, and then we were put in a field as we were moving up. And this field was hell on wheels. In the daytime, because we had plenty of, we used to eat jam, and nothing else but jam those days. We got bread then, after hard rations for about 3 or 4 weeks. They come over with a bakery.
Right.
We used to have bread on, jam on bread, and it used to attract the wasps, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
We were alive with wasps, and as soon as they got, mosquitoes came, and you could see them above the trees, a cone like this, of mosquitoes swirling round. And as soon as we went just down, they came, beat it to bits.
You're not given anything to protect yourself from mosquitoes?
I thank God we were only there on a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you move to from that point?
We started moving up country then.
Right.
As you know, I was not on the bike then, I was driving major bowers.
Right.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, while I was, when I was sent to, from DDST to Krask, they used to take drivers to a pool. We got a pool, and used to take us to the Mulberry Harbour, and there was vehicles loaded up with ammunition there. We used to take it to the front line. So the last one I did was we went up to I can't remember the name of the place, but we went over the bridge, over the Pegasus Bridge, and RCMP pulled us up again on a crossroads. He says, I won't go any further, to our captain, to the bloke in charge, like. So I'd stay here for the night and go in the morning. Patrols have been out again. So they're far-reaching, these patrols, are they? Amazing people, these Germans. Anyway, we slept in the gliders.
Oh, okay.
That night, slept in the gliders, and the men had landed it.
Right. Right.
Then, of course, we went down to these 25-pounders next day, and while we were there, another scare. They started mortars,
Right.
shelling us from over the ridge.
Right.
They told scatter, get away from your vehicles quick.
Well, especially if they were ammunition trucks. Yeah.
So anyway, we shifted like, and all of a sudden they got some shells like, so they opened fire. The battery opened fire across the ridge.
Right.
To the Jerrys. Because we were floated eventually, and that was the last one we did before we moved up.
That was the last run of ammunition trucks across Pegasus Bridge.
Was it back in my home before?
Okay. Right, Jack, we'll call a pause. Okay, Jack, so you're with 139 Brigade Headquarters. The tower's been blown up by the Navy shelling. Where did you go to then?
We started moving north then. Slowly moving north. We got stuck into one place. I think we were there a couple of weeks while there was a bit of delay to do with the Fallet Gap, I think it was. They were holed up. And during that time, Major Dobbs, the guy who I was driving, was given a job with 21 line of communication down at Nice. And he said, right, you've got to drive him down there. I said, thank you very much. So I drove him down there. That was clear down there then. As you know, they'd been advancing, so we managed to get him down there. And I came back, you know, and I stopped, on the way back, I stopped at Lille, at an army camp, and to fill with gas and have a bite to eat, and stop the night. And that evening they went into Lille for a champagne party.
A champagne party in the middle of the war.
And when we got back to our unit, a Major Callan had taken over, a Scotchman, TA, he was TA, shipping stockbroker from Glasgow in civilian life. Great guy, what a guy he was, wonderful fella. You could serve your life down with a bloke like him.
Why?
You're amazing, amazing fella. Do anything for you, you know. Help you out, do anything. You're a great guy. Are you alright for food? Are you alright for drinks? He used to share his half bottle of whiskey with his batman and me. Oh, you're a great fella. Anyway, we started moving up again then, and we went to Le Havre, which had just been liberated about 2 days before. Chased the Germans out, and we'd heard, Major Cannon had heard about a warehouse that had a store of spirits in that were left from Dunkirk days. So we found this place, and you wouldn't believe it. The stuff that was in there. Crates and crates of champagne, whiskey, rum, everything you could wine, everything you could mention.
But they had survived the 5 years from Dunkirk through to 44.
Yeah. The Germans hadn't touched it at all. They'd saving it for when they were victorious, you know. Anyway, he got a case of whiskey, and I got a couple of bottles of Vin Rouge. Red wine, Vin Rouge. And I drank one that night, or part of it, you know. And then I saved the other one for VE Day, but that's come later, like.
Right.
So we proceeded up there, proceeded north, and slowly. No, we didn't see any action at all. I was a bit disappointed, you know, because I'd gone in to help the war effort.
Yep.
But I didn't help the war effort because I didn't see any activity. So we trundling up there. We come to this stage. I think it was Bruges, and we made to go through a tunnel under the water, and we stopped like this. Can't get through there. It's flooded. They've blown it up inside. So we had to make a detour about 40 miles to get north. Finished up in, where did we go then? I think it was Breda, Holland.
Yeah.
Finished with Breda, Holland with the Poles, the Polish Army Brigade there at that time. We finished up in Breda. And because no Germans up there, they were all in Germany. They were chasing them through Germany. Anyway, while we were there, Major Callan, he says, right, Jack, he says, excuse the call me Jack, we're going down to Rhine tonight. We're going on a recce party over the Nile on boats. I said, and you're coming. I said, thank you very much. Anyway, we went down there, we in this undergrowth, and all of a sudden a guy comes along, he says, it's off. He says, there'd be too many Germans across the other side. So I went back home. And that was all those things were interesting, but it never got me any action. Might have saved my life though.
Well, I mean, you know, somebody has to run the headquarters, so...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So after Breda, can you remember where you went then?
Oh, goodness knows. Breda.
Or did you cross the Rhine?
Yes, yes. We went to Kiev.
Russia?
Kieve.
Oh, okay, where's that?
That's near Dortmund.
Okay.
Dortmund. And we were there in a field, a sports field, bivouacked in a sports field. We had with us, sure, it's too long. We had a interpreter with us, and you're a right guy, you were a Dutchman, speak all languages he could. One day he says, right, he says, I've asked Colonel if I can use a car, I want to go somewhere and look at a farmyard. He said, we think there's a German, it was a Nazi in this church, so we went up there. And we looked at the farmyard, we couldn't see anybody about, so we didn't bother like, we came back. We knew they got some pigs there, we could hear them squealing. So two or three nights after, he says, come on, I've got permission to use car again. I went to this farm and he said, excuse me, just turn around and wait. and he got out and ran up farmyard. He got a little pig and carried it back at calf. Anyway, Delman this way, and more than out on it, right, we've got a good meal now for $2 or $3. Anyway, he took it back, and this damn pig was squealing like mad. Got it back to camp. Next day, military police came. Where's that pig? So, Major Carroll, he said, where is it? I said, interpreter's got it. He says, well, I want that. He said, it's going back. No action. No action, just high spirits.
Yeah.
It was like that. Anyway, while we were there, he was made Lieutenant Colonel. Major Colonel, Major.
All right.
Colonel Colonel. He finished up pass. Bit more money in the pocket, he says.
And still part of 139 Brigade
Still the
HQ.
boss.
Okay.
He was still the Krask. He was still Commander of All Army Service.
Okay.
Krask. Yeah. And we were there many a while at Kiev, and it was while we were there that the war finished.
Okay.
The war finished. We heard about it around about early evening, and that evening I thought, that's it. I sat in my bivouac and drowned down this bottle of Valrouge.
Oh, okay.
All the ruddy lot. Because I didn't remember anymore until I woke up next morning.
Yeah.
Silly to do it, really. Silly to do it because you can choke yourself if you see it.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing to do, but that's how you are when you're young.
When you're young, absolutely.
I was only about 24 then.
So, when the war ended, were there many Germans around you to surrender to you, or was that basically the frontline infantry were taking those surrenders?
Never saw a German soldier.
You never saw a German soldier?
Only dead ones.
Right.
We went when as we were advancing. We went through a village, and there was tanks, German tanks on each side of the road, and they were it bombed them, and they were turned over, and they were Germans lying half under and half out, chopped in two, And they were black. The bodies were black. Anyway, we went to this ferry, and the Americans had rigged this ferry up. It was a sort of a boat thing. And this barge sort of thing, and they fastened a boat to the side of it, a speedboat or something it was, and they were going across, taking vehicles across on this thing. I was scared to death because it was Flashroyd River. And you started here and you went across further down.
At an angle.
At an angle. And that's how we advanced up into Germany. We finished up in Munster Barracks, Westphalia, Munster Palace. And that's where I was, where I wasn't demobbed from there. No, we went. My colonel was demobbed from there, and this is true. That's what I'm going to tell you now. He was demobbed before me. Lieutenant Colonel Callan Gordon. He said, call me Gordon when you were on the road, Jack. So he said, take me to the station, I'm leaving. He said, oh, I said, sorry about that. He said, so am I hate leaving you guys. And we went to the station, and he said, stop me a bit. Now I'm going to say goodbye to my fellow officers, I'll be back. He came back and he said a very, very surprising thing to me. He says, Jack, he says, would you like to sign on for another 7 years? I says, I don't think so. So why? He says, well, I can get you an immediate commission. No question asked. I can get you an instant commission. And I refused it, turned it down. And a few months after, I kicked myself to death nearly. I did. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my life.
Right.
I could have finished up. He said, you would make an officer. I know you. He says, you're the same type. And he says, they're urgently wanting officers from military government in Germany.
Yeah.
You have no training. You wouldn't want to be trained. You have no need to be trained. Only exactly what to do with the Germans, you know, law and all that kind. You'd be trained in law and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no training as an officer, you'd have that training, intellectual training. And I turned it down. Thinking, I was a fool. I could have finished it with
2020 hindsight is something different, Jack. So I shouldn't worry about that.
But you know, after having 7 years in the forces and being confined to something that was against your best interests, you know, you wanted to be free.
Yeah.
And to get out and be free again.
Yeah.
It was wonderful, but I still did say to myself, "You're a fool for doing it." A few months afterward, it was too late then. Had I been able to contact him, I might have been able to do it, but they won't let you.
No.
You've got to go through War Office if you want to contact an officer.
Yeah.
And you have a hell of a job getting through. I found that out.
So where were you demobbed from? Were you sent back to England before you were demobbed?
Strensel Barracks.
Strensel?
Central York. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
How long after the war ended was that?
The war ended in 1945.
Yeah, May 45.
May 45. I was demobbed in July 1946.
Okay.
So I had 7 years. You know, I enrolled in. I joined up in 39, June 39, and demobbed in July 46.
46.
No, no, so 7 years. I did inquire if I was eligible for a pension, but no, you don't get a pension.
So then you returned home after you were demobbed?
Yeah, I returned home and had a few weeks off. I didn't do a great lot. I had a couple of weeks in Blackpool, and I had 1 or 2 jobs. I was going from job to job to job to job. I couldn't settle. I was absolutely restless.
Yep.
Couldn't do anything, you know. I just couldn't stop at one job. I've got to do something, get moving. And I think that was being in the army that did that.
Yeah.
But eventually I said to myself, right, Jack, you've got to stop this. You've got to find something that you want to do. And I thought, well, what did I do in the army? I drove. Get driving then. So I did. And I went truck driving.
Right.
That's what I did. That's what I did. And I did that for until 1979, late 1979. After we'd been to Canada to see my youngest son, who we'd been for a fortnight. And that's where that picture was taken, up there, in 1979. That was at Jasper in Alberta.
Right, yeah.
Up on top of a mountain. Yeah. So I had that taken in 79. And, what was I saying? That was taken in 79. What was I saying? I forgot now.
No, we were just talking about your life after the war. You were restless, so you went back to driving. You did that till 79 when you went to Canada.
I went to Staveley Works on loading pipes on railway wagons. I had 2 years up with the Pearl Insurance Company as a salesman, as an agent. I had a year and a half selling Mother's Pride bread. I had another 6 months on a coal lorry from the home gas sites. I went back to Mother's Pride bread for another 18 months. In between that I'd worked for a shop and a baker at Bolsover for a few months at each one. And then I worked for 3 years for a London firm, driving an 8-wheeler tanker. And then I worked for Trebber Sweets on a van with a van lad.
Right.
Used to go Scotland and south of England, all over the place with it. And then while I was there, I used to park up down Birkin Lane and go down, take the van. Used to park the van up at in the coal yard. I do the van down there like a park it up at night. And I when I'm passing there, I see there's a little transport company down Birkin Lane, and it could Ainsworth, and I went to see him one day because I got fed up with going on long distance, you know.
Yep.
I says, "You find me a job?" He says, "Where do you work now?" I says, "Trevor." So I'm not finding you a job. I've seen you flying down that road there like hell. I says, "Hey," I said, "there's two of us go down there, not only me." So he thought about it.
Yeah, there was only you though, wasn't there?
He says, "All right." He says, "When you want to start?" I says, "Well, when you want me to start, I'll give a week's notice and I'll start." "Do that then." He says, "I'm having a brand new truck coming, an Albion Reaver." And he says, I want you to go on tarmac because they were just starting motorway then.
Okay.
Chesterfield and Sheffield.
Yep.
So I was working on that for 7 or 8 months until they run out of tarmac at Staveley. And that's how it worked. Eventually, we went on general haulage. The main job was running pipes and fittings to all waterboard and coalboard waterboard and gasboard depots all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And those days they weren't centralised.
Yep.
Every village and town had got village had got one, probably towns had got half a dozen.
Yep.
Different sites, you know, scattered all over the place, and that's what we were doing, feeding them. I did that for 17 years. And then this tachometer job came out.
Yep.
So I said, "That's it."
And you retired.
I can't do a day's work with one of them in my camp. So I quit. And I told Ted, he said, "I don't blame you." He says, I'm packing up job up," he said, "packing the business up."
Right.
I went to drive a 12-ton Coles hydraulic crane for a company up Stonebrew. You know, hydraulic ramps sticking up in there. And I did that until, what day would it be, 1984, late 1984, I said, "That's it, I'm quitting Ted." Bill Gadsby, his name was. "All right, great guy, got an aeroplane, a helicopter, millionaire, you know." "All right," he says, "come see me in the office before you go." Went to see him, shook my hand, give me a cheque for £100. He says, "Here you are, I'll help you out." And in a few months after that, we were in Canada, working in Canada.
Really?
I got a job. As a residential manager. We saw in the Sun paper in the adverts, we saw an advert for training for managing. $300 each. So I went to see this guy, and he was Londoner. "Oh," he says, "I'll do you both for $200, he says. So we were there. We had 21 hours in the classroom, 21 hours homework.
Yeah.
And I passed 95%.
Right.
She passed 84%.
Right.
Yeah, so we were managed up to it, double managers in a building. Our first salary was 900 a month. By the time we finished, we were getting nearly 4,000 a month.
Right. And you were in Canada for 15 years, you said?
Nearly 15 years, yeah. I had to come back because of the Canadian government would not recognise the British pound. It wasn't coincident with their economy. So we got no rise. We couldn't have managed financially.
Right, I think on that note, Jack, we will